plot after the UK Appeals Court made a decision to reject his claim in court this afternoon that he is entitled to security paid for by the British taxpayers for the rest of his life. Now, Harry had previously said this was the most important case he had ever had to fight, that this was all about protecting his family, and we knew, close observers of Harry knew, that there was going to be a serious reaction if he did lose. Well, that reaction has come within hours because Prince Harry has just sat down with the British Bashing Corporation, the state broadcaster in the United Kingdom, to give a quite truly horrifying interview for the royal family, which I'm going to watch for the first time here with my incredible superstar panel: Alex Phillips, Connor Tomlinson, Howard Cox, and Father Calvin Robinson. So we're going to kick off with the moment where Harry is asked about today's decision. Let's watch.
There have been so many disagreements, differences between me and some of my family.
Ready, we see there Harry trying to present himself as the victim, but the reality is that there are so many reasons why his family don't want to speak to him. He was told time and again that there were consequences for writing that book, for making that Netflix documentary when the late Queen Elizabeth II was in her dying days. Yes, King Charles does have incurable cancer, as Lady Colin Campbell has revealed here on Outspoken. But for that reason, he doesn't want the stress of another drama with his son, who is perpetually the victim. And this interview, it's not going to help.
No, exactly. You know, it's interesting. England's second most senior judge, Sir Geoffrey Vosser, is presiding over this case, told the Duke his grievance over the downgraded security had not translated into a legal argument, and actually said the decision had been predictable and sensible. And there's Harry going, I want reconciliation for my family. I want this. The last thing's all about this security grievance. I need this. I need that. They might not forgive me for writing book, but I'm ready to forgive them. And you just think, so why are you doing what you're not supposed to do? Why are you having to sit down for the world's media and start talking about timelines for his father's life? That information hadn't been publicly revealed by the monarchy. That's incredibly sensitive information.
He doesn't care about invading anyone else's privacy, does he? Which he's done time and again. And it's like, how can you be told, if you do this, if you reveal our private conversations, if you reveal private text messages between Catherine and Meghan Markle, if you reveal the fact that you had some fisticuffs with the future King, Prince William, there are going to be consequences. They want nothing to do with you. But of course, Harry sees conspiracy in all of this. Watch.
Beginning of 2020.
This is delusion. This is paranoia. This is a man who sits in his home, very unhappy in Montecito, and believes the world is against him. I mean, this is quite extraordinary. Can we just think for a moment what he's claiming here? He's claiming that the British government and security services are actually fiddling the risk assessment, which would put his life at threat. I mean, that is completely insane.
He's putting his feelings above facts. We know that he's not very clever. He doesn't necessarily know how the situation works when they do these security assessments. But what changed in 2020? Well, Prince Harry stopped being a working royal in 2020. He moved to America in 2020. So the entire situation around his personal security changed. Therefore, the risk changed, and people making the risk management deemed him a lower risk than he was previously. Makes a lot of logical sense to someone with a working brain cell. The problem that he's having is he speaks in euphemisms. He can't address the truth. When he says things like, oh, the last remaining concern is this security situation. There is a security situation around Prince Harry, but it's not his security when he's traveling. It's him leaking information to the media. It's him having conversations that should be private in public. That's a security concern. And when he says, oh, there's this remaining issue about it, it's an issue of life. When he gets out there on a platform and speaks in favor of abortion and pro-choice, as he calls it, and actually no one's life is at risk here. His life is not in serious risk. And that's why the security has been downgraded to low. He needs to get a grip on reality. He needs a strong male role model in his life to give him a good shake and say, wake up, lad.
The problem is, Calvin, they tried for so many years. So many years. William was always there, always picking up the pieces, be it the Nazi uniform, using the P word, stripping naked in Las Vegas. But of course, the final straw was when William said, look, are you really sure about this woman? Are you really sure about this mad woman? The family has loads of reservations. And of course, he hit the roof. But he does actually say here that he believes that his family are knowingly being put in harm's way. So watch this.
And there is no family in harm's way.
I mean, the extract before that extract, what got me, he described his family as a group of people. He's disdain for the family. He's just getting worse and worse and worse. It's nothing to do with family caring and loving or any. I don't hear any of those words. All I hear is, I want to be recognised. I want to be protected. And he doesn't need that. And he chose to leave, didn't he, the family and all of the things that go with it, all the acts he has to do, going around the country, seeing people on behalf of the royal family. That's all gone. He should know that he's got no position to ask for any protection. He's got loads and loads of money. I'm sure Netflix will pay loads of money to look after him. But anyway, it saddens me, especially as I'm the oldest one here. I'm nearly 120 years of age, and I've been around this. I've been around, the royal family. I'm a devout royalist.
Me too.
To see him do what he's doing to his family now breaks my heart.
Okay, Connor, before I bring you in, this is the moment where he's specifically asked, I believe, about, number one, because of Charles's cancer, which, as he has now revealed to the world, is much worse than many of us think. But number two, because we know what is sacrosanct in our democracy, a clear separation between the monarchy and the decision makers. And what Harry is asking his father to do is actually not even constitutional, is it?
Well, I don't know about that, because the government serves at the king's pleasure, and there isn't actually a separation of powers in the country. In fact, I think a lot more people would be very happy at this point if Charles was just disband the government, march the army into Parliament, and dismiss the whole treacherous lot. However, I'm no big fan of Charles, so I won't come to his defence there.
Well, no, exactly, because the thing is, we don't want Charles interfering in politics. That's the whole point. Like, it doesn't
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't want him interfering in politics just because he's not got my politics. But anyway, I'll put that to one side as a revolutionary zoomer.
Okay.
I don't think, as a man, you air all of your grievances, especially family ones like this.
Oh, it's awful.
Let me just... Yeah, I just want to put this forward, right?
Please.
So my dear friend, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, has a fatwa on her head. She has for about 15, 20 years. And that's because of a jihadist in the Netherlands. But of course, any country she goes to, thanks to the treacherous immigration policy that our government and the rest of Europe and the US have conducted, less so the US, more so Europe, any place she goes, she has to have private security with her at all times, because they've just imported people who relentlessly want her head. So I think that probably the threat to her life is significantly more large than that on Prince Harry's.
Without
I'm willing
any
to
doubt.
bet that. And she still has the courage to, go out in public, make speeches, fight the cause, and put herself in a lot more danger than he does. But let's say that his life is truly at threat. Let's say it's like President Trump level, 2024 election level. Then why on earth would you stick yourself in front of every single camera, talk about your family's grievances, write a tell-all book, do a deal with Netflix, rather than retreat into some armed compound on the arse end of nowhere? Like, just get off the TV screens if you're really that worried about it, or hire sufficient armed security enough so that you can go over and resolve your differences with your dad in private, rather than sitting on the straight broadcaster whining about it.
I know. It's so wrong. It is so wrong on so many levels. And of course, see, I really do believe that it's critical that the royal family doesn't interfere in politics. And yet, I'm told, obviously this is the first time we've seen this, but I'm told he also specifically name checks Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper-Watch. Some type of revolutionary Father Calvin Robinson. He is one of the richest, one of the most privileged men in the world. A whole load of people come to this country, be it Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, and they pay for their own security. He's also been completely disingenuous because Charles has said, just come and stay at Buckingham Palace. That's completely fine. These are the wrong battles he's picking. To me, it's a sign of a very deeply unhappy man and a very deeply unhappy marriage. And I know as a religious man, you would hope that that marriage would work out. But at the end of the day, these battles are just pathetic.
Yeah, actually, my primary concern is that he reconciles with his father before he dies, and I think he should be focused on that too. And we're quite right that he could pay for his own security, or he could just go stay at Buckingham Palace with his father as recommended. The problem is that, well, there are two problems here: his sense of entitlement, that he thinks he's owed something by the country, by the taxpayer, by the royal family. He's not. And the second is his victimhood mentality, that it's never ever his fault. It's always someone else's fault. Even his dying father, the king, is at fault in this situation. He can never take personal responsibility. And so he's going to be a very unhappy man until he learns to break free from this woke victimhood mentality and break free from his sense of entitlement and just gain some personal self and responsibility.
I know. But also, like, there is a cost to what you did. And the cost was always going to be the loss of your family, mate. And unfortunately, you decided to go ahead. And what he did, I think people forget what he did. It's so despicable. He accused the family of being racist. He specifically accused Charles and Catherine of being racist. He included details about Prince William's private parts. I mean, it's like... I actually think he's gone mad. I think he's lost the plot. But look, I just want to show you actually what the judge said, because Harry thinks that there's a conspiracy going on. This is what the Court of Appeal judge said. It was actually on camera.
Headlines around the world. One of the interview's most discussed moments comes when Harry says he would like to reconcile with his family. He acknowledges that some relatives may never forgive him for writing his memoir or for speaking publicly about private family matters. Even so, he explains that he no longer sees any value in continuing years of conflict. Harry also reveals that communication with King Charles has reportedly broken down over the ongoing security dispute. He says he does not know how much longer his father has, adding that life is too short to remain divided. Those comments immediately became one of the interview's biggest talking point. Following the interview, the panel offers a very different perspective. They argue that while Harry speaks about reconciliation, his decision to discuss private family matters in another televised interview makes rebuilding trust significantly more difficult. The commentators suggest that repeated public interviews, the Netflix series, and Harry's memoir have all contributed to the current breakdown in family relationships. In their view, genuine reconciliation would require private conversations rather than continued public discussion. These are the panelists' opinions and interpretations rather than independently verified facts. Another major point of discussion centers on Harry's comments about King Charles. When Harry says he does not know how much longer his father has, the panel criticizes him for publicly referring to the king's health. The commentators argue that discussions involving serious medical conditions should remain private and believe such remarks could place additional pressure on an already sensitive family situation. Others, however, may interpret Harry's statement differently, viewing it as an expression of concern for his father rather than an attempt to create controversy. This difference in interpretation highlights how divided public opinion remains whenever the Sussexes speak publicly. Looking ahead, Harry's legal options regarding security appear limited following the court's decision. Attention now shifts toward whether private communication between Harry and the royal family can eventually resume. Although Harry says he wants reconciliation, many commentators believe meaningful progress will require both sides to move discussions away from public interviews and into private conversations. Only time will determine whether that becomes possible. Prince Harry's latest BBC interview has once again reignited one of the world's most closely followed family stories. His comments about reconciliation, security, and King Charles have generated intense discussion, while commentators remain sharply divided over what his interview means for the future of the royal family. As with many stories involving the monarchy, separating confirmed facts from personal interpretation is essential. Harry has shared his perspective, commentators have shared theirs, and the full picture remains known only to those directly involved. What do you think? Can Prince Harry and the royal family still rebuild trust, or has too much happened over the past few years? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the latest royal developments, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.